revolution here, the Civil War. Next year it'll come.
So you think next year there's going to be a civil war in the UK?
Yeah, I can feel it. I mean, that Trump, he's a wanker. He's a two-faced bastard. Trump, same as Starmer.
Why do you say that?
Well, one minute he's bombing Iran, next he's doing a U-turn. Oh, we'll give you 3 more weeks. And what they're doing? F*** all. Just robbing us with fuel prices. I can't go on holiday because of that bastard.
This black guy is the perfect example of why Carmelo Anthony is going to prison for the murder of Austin Metcalf.
All right, so I've heard a lot about justice for Carmelo, right?
Yeah. Justice for Carmelo. I would have stabbed that nigga too.
Why?
Hey, I would have did it to him. I promise I would have. I would have did it to him.
But why?
I would have did it to him and his brother.
Okay, but for what reason?
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Them little boys came looking for trouble.
Okay.
You come looking for trouble, you don't know what fucking outcome going.
Sure.
You don't know what outcome. You rob a bank. You don't know if you're gonna get the money.
Wait, somebody robbed a bank?
Hold on. Listen, real quick.
Man, you wanna
listen.
No, I'm trying. No, I want to hear. Yeah. Let's talk about it. All right.
You can record it, motherfucker.
Yeah. No, I want to.
You rob a bank,
insight,
right?
right?
You rob a bank, right? You might get the money. You might go to jail. You might be dead, right?
Right.
You fuck with the wrong motherfucker. It's the same way. Them boys were looking for trouble. You know what happened? He got stabbed and he died. Because he wasn't looking for trouble. That's self-defense, motherfucker. So if you can't see that between your fucking little ass brain, motherfucker.
Alright.
Do I have to tell you? I have to whisper it to you?
So.
You want me to whisper it to you?
No, I just.
You want me to whisper it to you, motherfucker?
You can talk in.
You want me to whisper it to you?
Well, you're yelling right now.
Alright then, bitch.
You know,
play with somebody else, nigga. I'm a real gangster. Play with somebody else. I'll fuck you up.
I'm just trying to get like some insight into the situation. There we have it, guys. From a real gangster.
How sick do you have to be to go to someone's grave and urinate on it? Especially someone who was murdered in cold blood, all because the murderer got sentenced to 35 years in prison. I swear some of these people just want to end up on a shirt. Prove me wrong.
What?
What's going on?
Walk away from it, though. I'll fucking hurt you. I'll fucking hurt you.
You must want to slap me in it. Bro, you must
Yeah, because you walked towards me.
Why are you slapping?
What has happened there? Why are they grips in? I don't get it.
What's happened, mate?
Yo, it's going off in Lumbridge, bro. Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oof! Oh my days! Alright, but before the certain comments start coming back in, my man has confirmed that he slapped him, okay? Because I know what sort of comments you're gonna say. Oh, get him out and all that sort of shit. Like, we're not hearing that. It's even now, okay? The game's the game,
people
bro.
Are. You want to say you're tired from fucking what? We're tired. Black people say we're tired from what? Having the standards lowered for you everywhere? Tired of what? People walking around on eggshells not to offend you? Tired of what exactly? What are you tired of? What are you so tired of all the time? We white people are tired. We're tired of hearing about it. It's 2025. This is America. Get a fucking job. Dress yourself in them. Put some fucking shoes on. Stop with the slides, sweatpants. Put some shoes on. Put some pants on. Get a job. Speak English properly. Be respectful. Be considerate. Salute the fucking flag. And shut up. But no one wants to say this. Everyone's thinking it, but no one wants to say it. Because everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid. Because they know if you say it in real life, you're going to get shot. And they say, oh, say that to a black person. Why? Because they're going to shoot me? No thanks. Same reason I don't go into the lion's den in the zoo. I'm not about to get eaten. So they say, oh, you wouldn't say that in real life. Yeah, because you can't handle it. Because you're maniacs, and you admit it.
So true. So
I'm here at this bakery, and a Chinese bakery, actually. Every time I come here, it's always a race issue with me. I come here every day. I get taro buns every day, and their customer service towards me sucks. When I just walked in the door, you didn't even hold the door for me, and I was right behind you. I was right behind you. But I'm a lady. That's ladylike, right? So once again, it's a race issue. I guess because I'm black, and then the workers behind. So it's workers behind now, all of them. And this man right here, it is a race issue. And I'm telling you, I come to this store 3 times a week. I come here all the time. You telling me what the fuck I do and what the fuck I don't do. It's a race. Fuck. And there is a Chinese man telling me that I have a race issue because I'm stating that I'm a black girl and I don't feel that I'm receiving good customer service. And he's saying it's not a race issue. And he's calling the police on me, y'all. This man right here calling the police on me because I'm saying I'm not receiving good customer service.
Call it an invasion. I'll start packing my rifle. We'll start killing them all. Come on, guys. Call it an invasion. All you got to do is call it an invasion. And I'll start knocking them motherfuckers out. Come on. Come on.
With another lesson. And before I begin this lesson, I'd like to begin by first giving all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Kodash. I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, Ruel, where I've learned this truth from. I want to say peace and salutations to you, Akim, you brothers out there laboring, pushing this word out in all truth and in sincerity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, which is your reasonable service. I want to say shalom to you, Akwaf, many Israelite sisters that may be listening, and also to you Israelites that are scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. You may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the chosen seed line. Shalom. So again, as you can see from the start of this video, I played some clips that I recently came across on social media, which is showing you how Esau is getting fed up and is reaching the end of his tolerance with so-called black culture, right? AKA black fatigue, right? But from the videos that I played, you can see that Jake is still pushing. So in this lesson, I pray that it's edifying, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But I'm going to do this lesson on walking in wisdom in the times that we're in, because Esau is literally getting ready to crash out. And I don't think Jake truly understands how far this devil's going to take it. Like, this devil, put us through 400 years of hardcore slavery. And, he's feeling in his mind that he should never have let us out of slavery at this point. So they're getting ready to crash out, and we understand that during the time of Jacob's trouble, which is where we're at now, that there's going to be things that are going to trump slavery. So it's going to be even worse than slavery, a time like never before. You understand? So in this lesson, I pray that, we get some edification on walking in wisdom in these times, because, we for sure are going to need it, right? So to begin, let's read in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 15. So it says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Right? So where it says circumspectly, you got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to keep your eyes peeled of everything around you, because you don't know what these people, are planning, what they're getting ready to do. You have to keep your eyes peeled. You have to keep your eyes open, right? It says not as fools, but as wise. Now, the people at the beginning of this lesson, when I played in those clips, the way those Jakes were acting, that's how a fool would act. These people are looking for any reason to crash out, and people like this is giving them all the reasons that they need in order to push their agenda to start this thing off, to kick this thing off, right? It says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Now, what does a wise person do? A wise person, they use wisdom. They use, understanding. They use all the things that the Lord has taught us through these scriptures on how to conduct ourselves in the land of our captivity among our enemies, right? You can't be out here acting like these barbarians, these people that can't control their emotions. You know, you have to walk with wisdom. If somebody says something to you that you don't agree with, just keep your mouth closed and keep it moving. Move away from them. If they follow you or whatever the case may be, then you know you have to handle it in you know with wisdom as you continue on. But you can't be out here getting emotional. Someone calls you the N word, okay, cool. I'm not that, but you know whatever. There you go. You said it. Good, you know, good on you. Well done. You know, and then keep it moving. You know, if you're driving your car, for example, another example, you're driving your car and then somebody cuts you off, you know, don't be screaming and, you know, you gotta scream at these people and flick them off and do all these things, you know, just let it go, man. If somebody cuts you off, all right, you didn't crash, you know, just keep it moving, right? Don't sort of antagonize the situation because now what ends up happening is you end up in a road rage. And let's say, for example, this person that you've just now pissed off in this road rage incident pulls a gun out on you. Now you're finished. Game over. Was it worth it? You know? That's why it says, you know, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. You got to work, you know, walk wise in these times, right? Verse 16, it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. And as you can see how things have progressed over the last few weeks, it's getting it's getting dark outside. You know what I mean? It's crazy how much, you know, racism is being posted all over the internet. They are looking for the reason to kick it all off so they can act out their fantasies, so they can kick this Jacob's trouble off. You know, we read in the scriptures in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. Matter of fact, I'll just go there and read it real quick. Right? So this is what it says in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? So the Israelites, and this is talking about the elect. This isn't talking about a 2/3. It's talking about the elect are going to be delivered and saved out of Jacob's trouble. You know, so it's getting ready to kick off. We're at that time. You know, when you read in the book of Daniel, also just as a side note, when you read in the book of Daniel, it says in chapter 12 from the beginning, for verse 1, it says, and at that time, right, and this is that time of trouble. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, the Israelites, right, the elect. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people, the elect, shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Right? So when you're walking with wisdom, you're not, you know, carnally minded, you're not doing all these carnal things, you know, you're doing exactly what the Lord has commanded you to do. That's who the Lord's gonna be out here protecting. But it says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. You see? So you imagine all the atrocities that happened during slavery. These Edomites are getting ready to act out all their fantasies. Trust me, they're getting ready. So just to go back to the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and we're going to go to verse 16. It says, I'll read it again. It says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Redeeming the time means we understand that judgment is on its way and is getting ready to pop off any time now. So we should be using every opportunity to grow in this truth, to study, to pray, to teach, to build your faith while there's still time to do so, right? Because the days are evil, right? And we see how evil is getting. Like I mentioned, you know, there's so much racism being posted over the internet. They're looking for a reason right at this point. They're looking for a reason to put us back in slavery. So as we continue reading, I'm going to read in the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 6. And it reads, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace, right? So for a carnal mind, it's someone who's emotional, like the people we saw at the start of this video. They would be carnally minded, like to piss on, you know, this guy's grave that's just been murdered. Obviously, these people, you know, see that as extremely disrespectful, right? Jake is getting satisfaction out of the fact that, you know, oh yeah, we've got our get back. You know what I mean? Like instead of just leaving it, right? The dude got his sentence. He's going to prison, right? Okay, it's unfair, but you have to keep in mind a spiritual man would understand. Like, look, their time is coming, and when that time comes, it's on from there. We can get our justice from there. But at this time right now, we're in their kingdom, right? So seeking any type of justice is futile, right? So we want to strive in this life. We want to strive to not have a target or put a target on our backs. You know, these Edomites are looking for any reason to take us out. And like I was saying about how Jake is just pushing it. He's just continuing to push the boat. Now it's not going to be so much longer before they just, you know what, it's go time. You know what I mean? Let's get this thing on and popping. That's all that's getting ready to happen, right? So I'm going to read in the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 16, right? So this is red letter, so it's Yahweh Shai that's speaking, right? So it says, Behold, Matthew 10 and 16, it says, Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? So the servants of the Most High, you know, as servants of the Most High and men of the Lord, we should expect that when we go out on the highways and hedges, we're going to see a lot of mockery, a lot of ridicule. You know, people are going to reject us. Our family is going to reject us. Friendships are going to end. People are going to leave. Your partners are going to go. All these things we prepare ourselves for because we understand what it is we've signed up for. We understand this is what we've signed up to, right? So we're going to go through afflictions. We're going to go through persecution, for teaching the scriptures and breaking down, the truth and exposing the wicked. We're going to go through these things, right? That's why it says in the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16, it says, Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. That's why, you can't be bringing your emotions with you. Somebody says something to you, all right, cool. You got it. You have these Christians always popping up wanting to start something. They want to say you're a racist. Okay, cool. You believe that scriptures, this is what the scriptures say. We're just reading the scriptures. Take it up with the Most High. You know what I mean? If you disagree, right? Let the Lord handle it. As we continue reading in verse 17, it says, "But beware of men." Right there, you go. You have to have that circumspect, that spirit on you. Keep your eyes peeled. It says, "But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogue." So obviously, we understand that a time will come where people are going to be delivering up, look, searching for the Israelites out there on the highways and hedges, and they're going to deliver us up. They're going to be trying everything they can to set us up and turn us in. We understand that because this is what we've signed up to, right? Right, and that's why I'm saying, like, you got to be careful when you're out on the highways and hedges, to walk with wisdom, right? Now, I want to read in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10, and start at verse 3. So it says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh," right? So, we're subject to weakness. And these bodies that we're in, yeah, sometimes it's hard when you've got a scoffer constantly showing up at your camp, having the same arguing points. They don't want to get it. They don't want to move on. They keep harassing you and all these things. That's why the elder said, look, Elder Apostle Tahar said, look, if they keep coming, just call the police. Call the police, right? But these Christians want to try and wear us out by coming in a carnal mindset. But although we are in our flesh, and our flesh is subject to weakness and temptations and sufferings and, living in the physical world under this current system, sometimes you get angry, but we have to yet, keep our spirit and our wisdom about us. It says in the scriptures, be wise as wise as serpents, harmless as doves. That's why we gotta keep reiterating and studying these scriptures because it gives us the answers, right? So as we continue reading in verse 4, it says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds." So when we're out here and we're pulling down these strongholds, we're waking up our people, we're teaching the correct 100% doctrine, the truth, our warfare is not carnal. So when they come with their weapons, hey, we don't pull out any guns. You have some Israelite groups that will carry guns to the camp. Esau used that as an excuse. Oh, they pulled their weapon on me. You know what I mean? Like any excuse that they can find that they're looking for. But it says in the scriptures, for our weapons of warfare, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. So what we got to do is just preach the doctrine, the correct 100% doctrine. Preach the truth, right? Verse 5, it says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of the anointed, right? So all we got to do is just keep exposing these lies that these Christian churches and all these other false doctrines, false religions bring. Have to just bring out the truth, right? And bring out the truth and bring out the scriptures and give the correct breakdowns, even when if they hear or forbear, right? That's all we have to do, right? You have to expose all their contradictions, their false beliefs, their opinions, right? And this is the duty of the men of the Lord. This is our duty. This is why the Lord had us come out on these highways and hedges to wake up his people. So I'm going to go back, and Salakia for jumping around. I'm going to go back to the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, and verse 12. And it says here in the scriptures, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So, the propaganda that these Edomites are receiving, because contrary to popular belief, these techno giants, these Edomites behind the scenes who are pulling the strings, they're feeding these Edomites with all the propaganda that they need to come up against us. And it's working clearly, because you can see some of the talking points that these Edomites have makes absolutely no sense, but they're so convinced in their mind that it's correct that they won't even listen to reason, right? So, it's the propaganda, or these algorithms are feeding them this propaganda, and they're getting ready to chimp out, they're getting ready to go absolutely crazy, and come in as a flood, right? So this is why it's important to understand that we need to be wise in these times. We need to walk in wisdom, right? So I'm gonna read one last scripture, and then close out there. And I'm going to read in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, because we're out here for a purpose. We have our purpose and what we're supposed to do on these highways and hedges, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16. I'm going to read verse 16, and it reads, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai," right? So that's what we're doing. We're out on the highways and hedges, and we're fishing for the elect. We're speaking to whoever hear it and ever receive it, and we're getting them to repent, come back to the Lord. So it says, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks." Right? So our job, again, is to continue to fish for the elect. And then when the Lord gives the green light and gives the go, when Yahushua turns up and we're into those spiritual bodies, man, it's go time. It's go time from there. Now, all the revenge that you want to get, all the horrible things that we're going to witness in these coming times, remember it all. So when you come back, in your spiritual body, you can, hey, you're gonna be rubbing your hands together like Birdman. You know what I mean? Like it's go time from there. You know. So that's why I say it's better to walk in wisdom and to follow the ways of the Lord, so the Lord will keep you covered, right? But once that time comes where it's time to be the hunters, then hey, you know, we're gonna have our fun. We're gonna have our fun there. So I pray that this lesson has been edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And with that, I give all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well, where I've learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to you hopeful elect out there. And it's on to the next one, Lord willing. Shalom.